License and registration, he can sense your aggravation.
On the head of the fallen angel.
When the world is muttering under the floorboards, stomp even louder.
Time.
Let them know you are alive today.
Or unhum.
Did you know that your hands came with a ripple effect?
Whisper tones unraveling like silk.
Blood, sweat, and tears win by any means poetry.
Wait, look at me. Is a piece of the pie too good for me?
Some may call it rock the mic. We call it poetry.
This time, no one dies. Bombs will blossom into flowers. Rifles will lift skyward like kites that float heaven-bound, unbinding anxieties of that first kill. Soldiers will return home, hopeful that this time was the last, that war finally became a fading relic that remains in the past, that no more dreams need turn nightmare, hopeful that pleas for peace have finally been heard this time. Hello, and welcome to Sojourn with Words. I'm your host, Sistah Joy, and we are here on CTV in Prince George's County. And today I'm so excited because we have a wonderful young woman who is a poet. She's an inspirational speaker. Well, let me introduce you properly. Sojourn with Words family. Today we have as our guest poet, Asha J Watson, also known as Purple Rain. So Asha is an inspirational speaker and spoken word artist. Again, Purple Rain. So I'm going to be toggling between calling her Asha and Purple Rain throughout our time together. But in 2018, she took back the worst year of her life by publishing 3 books. Asha is the founding president of Beauty Time Incorporated, dedicated to helping girls discover their internal and external beauty. She is a purpose doula, helping leaders strategically birth their purpose projects. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about that as well. Now, her journey of overcoming depression, teen parenthood, grief, and breast cancer is a testament to the power of resilience and the truth that our words are attached to our wellness. Asha, thank you so very much for being a guest here on Sojourn with Words. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I am looking forward to this conversation, to sharing as well as learning, because I definitely admire you as an artist and a community leader as well. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, well, it works both ways. I know that you have been doing your wonderful work in the community for a while now. And certainly your spoken word mastery is well known. Purple Rain has graced many stages. First of all, how did you come up with the name Purple Rain?
That's a great question. So it's funny. I was actually given the name Purple Rain. One of my poetry sisters, Tony Smith, is also, she one day she just started calling me Purple Rain, and it's REIGN, because I'm always talking about queens and royalty and just, leadership and exalting ourselves and all those type of things. And she's like, you like to be in charge and you love some purple. So she just started calling me Purple Rain, and it really stuck.
It stuck. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Okay. Well, let's see. You mentioned, it was mentioned in your bio about purpose doula. Share with our viewers just what that means to you.
Yes, absolutely. So I know what it feels like to be pregnant with purpose, to know that I have something inside of me that is supposed to change the world or impact something or that I want to share. A lot of the times it's a book. It may even be a poem. For many people, it's a nonprofit organization or a business. And I have a background in marketing and strategy. And so one of the things that I'm able to help people do is a lot of creatives, sometimes it's hard for us to get out of the creative side of what it takes to be in business or what it takes to lead an organization. So I'm able to connect the creative side as well as the strategic side and help people actually create a plan like a doula does in a birthing room and help people decide what they want their birthing process to do. And I've helped people publish books and start nonprofits and things of that nature as well. So it's an honor when people hire me to do that. And I enjoy it. I absolutely enjoy the work.
Wonderful, wonderful. I understand that writing has helped you to express your identity, and perhaps later we'll hear one of your I am poems, but talk about how writing has helped you to express your identity.
Absolutely. So writing has allowed me to express things that I may not have had the opportunity to express aloud, from journaling to writing short stories, also poetry as well. Writing helps me. It helps me be authentic in who I am. I find that a lot of the times, even raising my children, sometimes it's easier for me to write a letter or put things in a text because my pen and I just feel so close, and I can say what's really on my heart in writing more effectively than I can sometimes out loud. And so I've used poetry and short stories, and especially a lot of journaling. I do a lot of journaling. I teach journaling workshops as well, and help people just kind of express things that they may not normally express in other places. So I'm able to, craft myself. I can create a character. A lot of people create characters when they are artists, but for me, one of the lines in my I am poem is, I'm the same in person as on social media. I like the fact that I'm the same person across the board. If you hear me get up and do a poem, if you meet me in a church pew, if you see me driving in traffic, my goal is to be the same person all the way across the board. And so that comes across in a lot of my writing.
Oh, how wonderful. Okay. Well, now I know, let's see, I've been listening to some of the things you've been saying, and of course, paying attention to your bio information, where there's president of Beauty Time, Purpose Doula. I know you're a writer. I know you're an author. You mentioned you're a mother. There's some balancing going on here. How do you manage time constraints that allow? First of all, is there a 9 to 5 that you're also incorporating in, or is this artistry your full-time gig, as they say?
Absolutely. Yes. So I run a business, I run a nonprofit. I do consulting for a company. So I do work, I have a contract with a staffing agency. And one of the things that I've just learned to do, the way that I balance the most, is I filter everything through my purpose. If it doesn't feel like even with staffing, even with the contract that I'm working on now, I'm helping people find employment and get stable. That's a part of my purpose, helping people get closer to what their goals are. And so I accepted the position because it falls in line with my purpose. And then I'm very big on, I keep a physical planner, very old school. If it's not written in my planner, it is not going to happen in a lot of cases. Right. So I like to see a picture, and I use color-coded markers because it makes it more fun. And one of the things that I learned through my health journey, because I don't call it a lot of people call illnesses like cancer journey. I wasn't headed to cancer. I was headed to wellness. So during my wellness journey, I learned that being very intentional about my time and not overdoing it was something that helped me get well quicker. And so that's something that I try to reincorporate into my life now, and not, hustling is not all it. I have very solid friendships and relationships that I also put on my calendar and maintain intentionally as well. So balance is absolutely, absolutely important.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's something I think more and more of us need to embrace, that reality, because we are not simply that position for which we're employed or even contracted. We are, persons that have physical needs, but also emotional and psychological needs that allow us to be whole and healed. So thank you so much for bringing that to the fore. Now, you mentioned in 2018 that this was your best and worst year of your life, during which you published 3 books. 1 year. Oh my gosh. Talk about that for us, would you?
Absolutely. So 2018, so I'll tell this story. I do affirmations workshops, and one of the first things that I teach people is how to reframe a story. How we tell a story in our head plays a part in the words that we connect to it and how we get through it every single time. So whatever story you're playing in your head, you're going to live that out. So I'm going to tell this story 2 ways, and then you'll see the difference between it. 2018, at the beginning of the year, I lost my job that I had for 13 years. Then my mother passed away from a battle with breast cancer, maybe 2 months after I lost my job. 6 months after that, I found out that my boyfriend at the time was pregnant and I was not pregnant. So that was heartbreaking. And so it was just a gut-wrenching year. It just seemed like it kept getting worse and worse. And then I can tell the story this way as well. In 2018, I was released from a job that was keeping me away from jumping fully into my purpose. And I ended up launching a business at the end of the year because I didn't have the constraints of that job. I was stuck in a cubicle. My mother chose to go see her Lord and Savior. She had a full conversation with us that let us know that she was ready and that she felt like we were ready to live, that she'd given us everything that we needed and that she didn't want to suffer anymore. And she knew where she was going. And she said, she'll see us again. And then later that year, I ended a relationship with someone who did not love me. He did not love me. And it opened me up for an opportunity for me to find, or for the person that does love me to find me. So it's the same story. What I've learned is both stories are absolutely 100% true. But the way that I tell it tells me how to interact with it. And so at the end of that year, what I wanted to do, because 2018 is attached to so many negative things, I wanted to take the year back. And so I published 3 books. And the same year, things that I had been either working on previously, and then one of them, I had the idea working with my nephew to do affirmations for children, because he came to stay with me for the summer. My nephew had battled brain cancer, had ADHD, all kind of things. There were all kind of things connected with him. And we used affirmations to get through the summer, so much so that he didn't have to depend on his medication. And so I've decided that I wanted to use that as an intentional, strategic tool for young people. And I published 2 books of affirmations. So this is my first book, Transfer Please. It's Story short stories. Oh, that's awesome. That brings me joy that you actually have the copy of the book as well. But it's a pocket book, because the idea is that you can keep it in your pocket, and it's observations for people in the train. And then I'm So Beautiful, and the children in the book all call me Auntie Asha. They're all either biological or sociology. I've either chosen them or God chose them for me, my nieces and nephews. And then this is a poem that I wrote for my nieces and nephews, which includes your children if you have them. So that's what 2018 was for me. It started out one way, and then it ended on a really positive note. So, and I know my mom is absolutely proud. She actually was one of the first people to proofread Transfer Please before I ever got a chance to publish it. She didn't hold it in her hand, but she definitely helped me edit the book, and I'm grateful for that.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for being so full and rich in your storytelling abilities. I have to say, this little book right here, I absolutely love it. And one of the things that I try to do when I have a book that I enjoy And once I finish it, I try to say that I'm going to pass it on so somebody else can enjoy it. I've not been able to release your book.
Oh, thank you.
It's so
Well,
darling.
if you let me know who, I'll send whoever you'd like. I'll send them a copy of the book on your behalf. That's an honor. I appreciate that.
Well,
Thank you.
I will say that my granddaughter is about to go to Spelman, and this is something that I would love to gift her with, just as a parting, even if it's just on the road reading, because it's just rife with wonderful connections of life. And that's what I liked about it.
Thank you. We'll make that happen.
Well, thank you. Now, you talk about helping young women find confidence through Beauty Time Incorporated. Talk about that for us, and how this, whether you're talking about from faith or just from culture, talk about Beauty Time Incorporated.
Absolutely. So Beauty Time Inc. is the surrogate child. I was a surrogate mother for someone else's vision, and I ended up keeping the baby. I always say that. I was pulled in to help create a plan for them to find their leadership. And then I ended up keeping, staying on as the founding president. Our pillars are Christ, confidence, and character. And we absolutely, young women ages 7 to 18, and we're actually expanding past 18 because a lot of the young women have gone away to college. I've gone to a couple of Beauty Time graduate weddings. They're starting careers and they're calling back and saying, Auntie Asha, we still need help. So what we're doing is we're finding ways to connect the pillars of Christ, confidence, and character into the thread of everything that they need to know in life. We introduce them to other people that they can admire. Mentors are not perfect people, but they're people who care. And so we like to expose them to different stories. I was a teen mom. So we have a lot of people who tell them how to avoid that. So then that way they have the full story and they can make positive decisions on their own through that. And I really enjoy the work. So our call and response is, what time is it? It's beauty time. If you ever see me out and you holler, what time is it? If you ask me what time it is, I'm not going to tell you a number. I'm going to always say it's beauty time.
Okay. Well, let's see. We've got just a little bit more time left, speaking of time, for this interview portion of today's episode. But if you could tell us about, let's see, you state that you've learned that pain can have a purpose if one is given to it. Talk briefly about that before we go to our poetry.
Absolutely. Thank you. And this one doesn't take long at all, because one of the things that I teach people and I help people is to share from your scars and not from your wounds. When we share from open spaces, things that we're currently healing from, sometimes we can bleed on other people. But if we understand that all things work for our good, I learned that my journey through the valley of the shadow of death with breast cancer and losing both of my parents in a 2-year time period, I can be stuck in those places if I chose to. And I've chosen not to. I've chosen to inspire other people who may experience grief, who may face illnesses, maybe people who felt like the cards are stacked against them. It's a decision. So I've given my pain a purpose and chosen to help other people. And I love living this way because it keeps me from having a victim mentality. There's nothing that I've ever faced that's stronger than my resilience. There's nothing I've ever faced that's stronger than my God. There's nothing that I've ever faced that's stronger than the hope that I have for what's coming next. And so I love living that way. And it's definitely a choice. And I encourage other people to do the same. Whatever you're going through, this too shall pass. Your good days and your bad days, it's going to pass. So
I totally agree with that. And I have to acknowledge that it was the wonderful experience that you and I recently shared of filling the well, that I heard your story and became more familiar and realized that we share a like view on life, that many of us have experiences that are traumatic and they are life altering, but they do not define us unless we allow them to. And that's the reality of finding strength in the word. You've done it through your writings. I've certainly done it through mine. And I thank you for being so very transparent and being so intentional in the messages that you lift. I think they're empowering, not just for you, because we write for self before anything else, but they are empowering for your audience. So for your audiences. So I hope that our viewers here on Sojourn with Words, who are now about to hear some of your poetry, I believe they will become empowered. I know they will enjoy your messages because they are so rich in uplift. That's what you're about. So thank you, Asha Watson, for being a guest here on Sojourn with Words and for this interview portion of the episode. We are about to transition now to be able to hear some of the beautiful and enriched and empowering poetry of Asha J Watson, who is also known on stages as Purple Rain. And get it right, it's REIGN, Purple Rain. She wears the crown. Absolutely. Asha, what do you have for us that you would care to share by way of poetry? And also give our viewers your contact information, because we want them to be able to be in touch with you either on social media or email or however is best for you. So is there a contact that you can verbally give, and we'll probably generate it cryo on screen when we air this?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. I have enjoyed the conversation. I knew that this dialogue would be rich because we share those same views, and I've enjoyed sharing and being transparent and sharing from my scars, because I'm healed from a lot of things and I'm grateful for it. My contact information, I am Asha J Watson, ASHA, it's like Tasha without the T, on all social media. And my email address is hello@Asha J Watson. I try to keep it simple. And guess what my website is? www.ashajwatson.com. So yeah, hopefully that's pretty simple, but feel free. And if anybody, one of the things I'm intentional about, and I do love sharing my email in these type of moments, because sometimes people just want to be heard. So even if you want to just message me and tell me your story and you want somebody to give you encouraging words, I am that person. So feel free to email me and share your story, because I will read it, and I absolutely want to make sure that everyone feels heard. So thank you. All right.
Okay, so you've got a few poems for us. We've got, yes.
All right, this piece is called I Am. I write poetry on Post-it notes like mommy noted scriptures, added yoga and prayer to my meditation, use essential oils the way she used holy, light incense, Palo Santos, to elevate my spirit and keep my heart and mind and lungs clean. I've found a real relationship with God. I see her in the phases of the moon, the laughter of children, the consistency of ocean's waves, and the sun's rays. I know that God is love. So God is within me. He shines through me, and godly is how I be. I am a lover of all things purple. Baby, I'm a star. I am doves crying and sometimes delirious, but I'm also one of the beautiful ones. I am Wonder Woman, Transformer, and Rainbow Bright. I am light, truth, and adaptability. I have the ability to bend words and to turn nouns and verbs into capoeira playthings. I esquive negativity. I am seriously playful, blowing bubbles while handling my business, all fun, but playing no games. Kicking butts, but taking no names. You can find me in the middle of the dance floor or in the background moving things around or under the stage's spotlight, depending on the night. I am big and little sister, secretly my parents' favorite child. I am sacred. I'm a scared teenager raising amazing children. I am elevating young girls while figuring out the world. I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. I am Shirley Chisholm, Harriet Tubman, and Maya Angelou. I use knowledge, force, and my pen to change. I am Brenda, Addie, Mary, Penny, and Bobby, Linda, Georgia, and Audrey. I am legacy. I am not forgettable. I am past, present, and future, yet I am not history. I am our story. I am coloring book and crayons, classic literature, African proverbs, scripture, and encyclopedia. I am destined for Wikipedia, the same in person as I am on social media. I am the queen of affirmations, thug life and royalty, classical music, hip hop, and poetry. I am Gemini, a believer who stays woke. All chakras align. I am both Black power and diversity inclusion at the same time. I am so beautiful. I am content and uncomfortable, happy and single, yet open to mingle. I love my life and still prepared to be a great man's wife. I've laid hands and laid hands. I am war and peace. I'm not an illusion. I am authentically everything God intended for me to be. I am Auntie Asha, Asha J Watson, and Purple Rain. I am me. Thank you.
Yes. Snaps and claps. Yes, yes.
All right, this piece is called Undiminished Value. One of the best feelings in the world is finding money. It doesn't matter where, as long as it's found, it has value. Trash, car, ground, washed and wrinkled in the laundry, ripped, torn, taped, stolen. Well, maybe not stolen, but lost and then found, I'll take it. Its worth is not determined by its journey. We appreciate it fully, allow it to fulfill its purpose to purchase, invest, save, buy, trade, or give. It matters, regardless of where it's been or whose hands it's been through. The Department of Treasury sets its price and we comply without question. So why don't you trust the value that the Creator has set on you? No matter where you've been or whose hands you've been through, you matter. Jesus proved that we were worth dying for. As if searching for a pearl of great price, he traded his to redeem your life. So who are you to question your worth? To tell the Redeemer anything more than thank you is a little ungrateful. The very beginning of God's word says, I am made in the image and likeness of God. The same God that created the sun, moon, earth, and stars fearfully and wonderfully created me. So when everything is in question and life gets uncertain, I remember that I am because he is. And where I've been is a testament to the mercy and glory of God. It has been an uphill climb to realize that my story does not devalue my worth. It means that I have a story to tell, a way to help you avoid the places where I fell: teen mom, college dropout, attempted suicide survivor, impactful, breast cancer conqueror, and thriver. Still, an intentional being created by an intentional God. My worth is wrapped in his worthiness, and all my failures, scars, flaws, and insecurities can't limit me because God is the author and finisher of who I'm going to be. So with boldness, I declare that I am a child of the King of Kings, put on earth to do incredible things. I take pride in my journey because God is in it. I've lost and been lost, crumbled, broken, and torn, but no matter where I've been or whose hands I've been through, I have undiminished value, and so do you. Thank you.
Thank you, Asha J Watson. Thank you so much for that testimony, for that wonderful poem of truth-telling, of empowerment. We thank you for being a guest on Sojourn with Words. And of course, this brings to a close the program that just always seems to fly by every time I bring an exciting guest on, which is always. But Asha, thank you for being a guest. And we want our viewers to know that they can reach out to you whenever possible. We always try to enlarge our Sojourn with Words family. So that concludes our show today. Thank you for viewing with us, and we'd love to hear from you. But once again, this is Sojourn with Words here on CTV in Prince George's County, claiming the world as ours through poetry. See you next time, and in the meanwhile, remember to always pick up a pen and what? Keep writing.